Hello, welcome to the channel and welcome back to Resurwreck Autos HQ. So guys, today we are working on another customer's car. Got a message and yesterday, can they give me a quick call? Yeah, no problem. Phoned me and said their daughter has got a Ford Ka and she got it stuck in first gear. Now, we've done loads of these. The Ford Ka, the Fiat 500, the gearboxes, they're just shocking. They don't last very long and they eventually go, don't they? They fail. Mainly because of obviously the main, is it the main bearing or something, or shaft bearing or something goes on them. Well, it sounds like this is the gearbox and the clutch. Because when she's driving as she's driving, the revs just go up on their own. Now that is a telltale sign of a slipping clutch. If it ever does it on your car and it just, you're driving along and it revs up on its own, it means it's slipping. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be stripping it down. Not a new gearbox because they're absolutely ridiculous. It'll just be a second-hand gearbox, but a working one, like a complete, perfect one that's working, and a clutch on the Ford Ka. So let me bring it in. Let's get into it. Let's do this. Right, so guys, here we go. This is a customer's car, and yeah, she called me yesterday and said she's having a right old nightmare with her daughter's car. It just keeps revving right up when she's driving it. I just took it for a test drive and it's doing exactly the same thing. The gearbox, first, second gear is absolutely rattling around. Very, very common problem with these Kas and Fiat 500. Gearboxes are terrible. Engines are quite reliable on these, but the gearboxes, no. So we're going to be stripping it down, changing the gearbox, and we're going to be doing a clutch as well. The other thing we're going to be doing is the, not master cylinder, the slave cylinder that sits on top of the gearbox that goes backs and forwards. That is squeaking and wheeling like a, yeah. So that's got to be done as well. So we've got to change that. Whilst we've got the gearbox, I'm not going to rely on the other gearbox I get, oil seals for the drive shaft. So we'll be changing the drive shaft oil seals as well as new gearbox oil. And then, yeah, all that sounds really quick, but trust me, it's a bit of a job. I like to take the whole front end off the cars, just to give you more access and more space. You have to take off the bumper anyway completely because of the arm that sits at the bottom. You have to take that arm at the bottom arm completely away to drop that gearbox down. So it just gives you more space. So as long as, I'll have to check the aircon. If there's no air conditioning in the car, then we're just going to take the complete front end off. If the air conditioning is there, I'll probably leave the front slam panel and rad pack in place, and then do it whilst it's there. But yeah, let's just see how we get on. We need to start stripping it down. Drive shafts out, gearbox is coming down. So let's just see how far we get. Let's get cracking. Let's do this. Right, guys, all I've done is take off the wheels, take it up in the air, and I've found quite a major problem with this car. We have got oil, that's new fresh oil that's coming from this car. That wasn't there because you know what I'm like. I'm right tidy. I like to sort of clean up. That is fresh oil, and that is coming from this car. But it's not coming. It's not coming from where you think it's coming from, guys. Let me show you. So let me put the torch up there. So I thought initially, don't get me wrong, there is a little bit of oil around the sump here and stuff like that, because that fails as well. But our main problem and where the actual oil is coming from is between between the actual gearbox and engine. So that is the main rear not crankshaft, oil seal, crank seal. Yeah, a crankshaft seal behind the flywheel. It's not gearbox oil because there's no gearbox oil that goes into this one. Like some of them have got like prongs that go into the gearbox. This one, the slave cylinder sits on top, so there's no actual gearbox oil or. Why'd you saying that? It goes into that shaft, doesn't it? Main shaft? No, it's not. No, it's not. That is definitely engine oil. Definitely engine oil. Doesn't smell like it. Yeah, it's engine oil. You can smell the difference between engine oil and gearbox oil. There's a real difference in the actual, yeah, in the smell of it. So it's definitely coming from that. So this has just become a bigger job, basically, and it's definitely going to take a bit more time. I've said to her that, well, she needs a car back by next week. So if I just crack on today and tomorrow, and yeah, I've got Monday. She needs it back Tuesday. So if I just sort of just crack on with it and start working on it now. But yeah, this just become a little bit of a bigger job. The other thing I've noticed as well is that obviously when I took it for a test drive, I thought them brakes seem a bit squeaky, and yeah, it's because, let me get a torch up there, show you. It's because of that. Look how thin those brake pads are. So those brake pads, they need changing, really. Yeah, she's not had this car long either. And obviously, it's like any second-hand car, isn't it? Someone sold her a car. And obviously, you don't know what they've done to it. You don't know if they've done any work to it, what they've repaired it or looked after it. They've just... But to have that much leak from an oil seal, they normally grow gradually and then just really, really slowly get an oil leak, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. To get that much oil out of this car, in fact, I wonder if it will do it if I run it quickly so we can have a look. It might do, you know. Let me have a look. Because that looks quite bad. It might not, because the crankshaft's not spinning fast enough, but let's have a look. Can you hear that noise? That's the clutch and the gearbox. I'm just seeing if it starts to come out or not. No, it's not coming out. It's probably not going fast enough, the actual crankshaft. But that's what it is. It's got to be. There's nothing else up there that can cause that oil leak. God, can you hear it? That's why we've got to change the gearbox and the clutch. You know, and this is a prime example of what I've been saying. If this was my car, I would not be letting that go without doing those repairs. And you know I'll be doing it. Before I could let it go, before I could sell it, before I can sell it on to anyone knowing that they're going to drive it around, that's got to be done. And someone, it's like just crazy. It's just unbelievable. So now I've got to call her and tell her that we've got to do... Right, sorry guys, someone come to the door, so I had to stop and talk to them quickly. So yeah, like I was saying, it's definitely coming from between, like you can see it's coming from that split there. So it's coming down between the gearbox. I've got to be honest, it's not a lot more in parts and labour. All it is the oil seal needs to be replaced, so that's the part. And then the labour is just removing the flywheel and then fitting the flywheel back on afterwards. So really, it's not a lot more involved, but I have to let them know. I have to, you know, keep them informed on what's going on. I did say to her, you know, watch the video. You can see what's going on. I can show you exactly what's happened and what I find. Yeah, found an oil leak from the main crankshaft seal. So there we go. Right. Well, there's no point just, it's got to be done, and there's no point just yeah, keep talking about it. Let's just carry on. Take the front bumper off. Yeah, let's just, I'll let you know what she says, but I'm sure she'll just say, can you just do it? Like pads, they need doing. They're so low, them pads. They ain't gonna last very long at all. And she's going backs and forwards to her college. So yeah, she definitely needs this car to go backs and forwards. So let's just set you up. Let's get cracking. Let's start stripping all this down. Let's do this. Right, guys, I have to show you what I found. Now, part of doing this is taking that bumper off, right? And I took all the bolts off, this side off, lovely. Yeah, the bolts come off really nice. All I'm done, lovely, lovely. Got to the other side, and I thought, why won't it pull off? I'm pulling it off. There's a bolt there, there's one bolt there, and that's it. The rest should just pull off, like on a clip. Done loads of these, done absolutely tons of KAs, Fiat 500s. They're all the same. They connect all the same at the front end. And then I was thinking, why won't it come apart? Why won't it? It just will not come apart. And I thought, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just undrill the bracket. And then I can just pop rivet it back up in place when I'm done. Did that. It fell down, looked up there. And let me just see if I can get it up there so you can have a look. I don't know if you can, oh, you can just see it. Can you see that there? That is a screw there. Someone has screwed it from the outside through the bumper into that bracket there. What an absolute joke that someone's done that. Look at that, look. Straight through the bumper from the outside and into there. Just this car, the more I look at it, the more I'm finding things, but you know, where do you stop? You have to stop. But I did think it was something weird going on about this, because you can see the colour difference in this wing here. So this has had some repairs done on this car. The difference in colour difference in that, look. They couldn't even get it perfect. So I think this has been involved in a collision, an accident, Cat N, maybe a Cat S, don't know, but definitely a Cat N. Or someone's had a crash and then bodged it and repaired it themselves, and then that's what's happened. But that is terrible. Now I've got to try, and cut that screw there from the inside without damaging the outside too much. It's already cracking. You can see that it's already splitting and stuff like that. It's just terrible job, terrible. But yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it? This is why, even when you're going to buy a second-hand car of other people, you know, what have they done? Actually, what have they done to repair it or put it back together or anything? That's why I show so much on the videos, because you can see exactly what is going on with every car that I do. It's just an absolute prime example of that. Someone's, yeah, someone, I can't believe that. Someone's actually put a screw for the outside, put it through, and then filled it and painted it. It's just unbelievable. Someone has actually got the nerve to do that. But there is people out there. It's definitely had some sort of front end, yeah, repair on this. Because that's definitely well off. The colour is so far off. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the owner knows about this, was told about this, or was just you know, sold a cheap KA. And the reason why it was cheap is because you know this is the reason, because I just wanted to get rid of it. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it from the inside, see if I can work out how to get that cut. I think I can. I've got a multi-tool with a metal cutter, just got up there like that, and it should just cut that screw, and then that should release the bumper without doing too much damage to the front end. How I'm going to connect it when I put it back on, I don't know yet. Let's get to that later on. Let's just get off this bumper, you know, and start doing the repairs. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's do this. Right, guys, making some great progress on this one now. Most of the bottom end stuff has all been removed. Start motor, bell housing bolts, bracket, lower engine mount has been taken away. Started to remove the stuff that's around there. Not too bad. But let me show you what I've found when it comes to this oil leak. Now, it does actually look like it's coming from the gearbox itself. We're changing the gearbox anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I was just wondering if it was coming from if it was engine oil and it was coming from between the engine and the gearbox, which is, I thought was going to be unlikely because I've never done one of them before and it's never really leaked. But I think, let me show you if I can just get the torch to shine properly. But basically, I can't get the bloody torch in here to shine properly. Oh, there you go. So you can see up there, it's all dry, which means there's no oil coming from that point there, which is the seal. It's not running down the actual flywheel. It's coming from the bottom part of it. So it must be coming from the actual spline gearbox oil seal that's in there. It's the only thing that makes sense, really. So yeah, but it doesn't smell like gearbox oil. So very strange. But obviously we're gonna have a better understanding. We're gonna better see it once we take the gearbox down. And we're not too far away from that now. I've got to be honest, a few more bolts on the top. I've got to do a bracket, and then this should just come away now, just come down. So yeah, I'll set you back up. Let's get the gearbox out now. We should be able to get it out, and then we'll go from there. And then yeah, we'll actually see what is going on in this gearbox. But what a nightmare. Yeah, and we'll look at the clutch as well. Take the clutch off, have a look at that. And then, yeah, I have got to wait for parts. I've got to be honest with you on this one. This has definitely had some work, because you can tell that's the painter doing the old buff and polishing or whatever with the powder. I can't remember what it's called now. Anyway, getting tired already. Let's crack on. And lower it down, support the engine, support the gearbox, start removing all the rest of the bits and pieces that I need to on top end, and then that gearbox should come down and we'll get it out of the way and have a look. So let's do this. Right, so guys, gearbox, clutch removed. Yeah, not too bad. We've done loads of these before. Flywheel is in good condition, just wants a spray with some brake cleaner, but it's in quite good condition actually. It's not scratched or nothing like that. It's just a little bit of heat residue going around, but kind of normal for the flywheel on that, so that's good. Let me show you this gearbox. So this is definitely where it's leaking from, 100%. And it's leaking from the seal behind that shaft. Now, not that way, not twisting. It's just you grab it and can you hear that or see it? That play should not be there. And what's happening is obviously it's failed. The gearbox has failed, and there's that play in it, and it's causing the oil to sort of seep past the seal, which is just in there. Oh, it's actually through that spline, through there, and it's on the other side. There's another seal. But look at the play in that gears. That's crazy. That's terrible. So yeah, definitely got to replace the gearbox. Going to replace obviously this bearing. It goes there. It's actually spinning quite well, but I think it's because the oil's been spitting and pissing out everywhere, and obviously it's gone over the actual bearing, and it's obviously made it all right because it's constantly been oiled. But yeah, we're gonna change that out anyway. We've got a new clutch coming because this clutch plate is pretty much gone. Not a lot left on this clutch plate at all. It is so low. So yeah, not good. What's not helped as well is obviously the oil spitting everywhere, and it's been spitting all over this this clutch. So that makes it slip as well. Do you know what I mean? So she would have, if it weren't for that, you got two problems here. You got the oil leak. The gearbox is spitting out the oil, going over the clutch plate, and then making it slip more than what it should be. So if that didn't happen, that oil leak, she would have got a little bit more use out of this. But it's definitely had it. It's so close to that rivet. So close. And that one as well. The plate as well, pretty worn on there, going round. Sometimes they snap these ends. So yeah, but we've got a new 3-part clutch coming, guys. I'm going to go off. I'm going to get a gearbox. We're going to switch out these oil seals as well on the gearbox that I get. I think he said about he wants this one, so I've got to take it with me. I think he wants this one. I think he's going to start cleaning them up, taking them apart, and making them reconditioned. I'm not sure what he wants to do, but apparently that's what he wants to do. He wants that one back now. So yeah, that's where we are. Leave it with me. I'll go off, get some bits, and then when I come back, I'll show you the gearbox, and we could get started with the brake pads if you want. We'll work on that, do what we can today while we're waiting for parts to turn up. So yeah, bear with me for now, and I'll see you in a bit. Right, okay guys, I am back with another gearbox. So yeah, and he just took the original one as an exchange. That's what he does, just because he probably just gets them repaired or gets them reconditioned or whatever he does. But I've checked this one, and there's no play whatsoever in that spline, and that's exactly what you're looking for. Is no play like the other one was. The old one, the original, was just so flappy. It's nice and tight in there. So this is definitely going to work. He does leave in these drive shaft ends just because of leakages. It is empty. He does empty the gearboxes of oil, but he just leaves those ends inside there just in case you get any sort of yeah, you don't want any leakages and stuff. Just makes it less yeah, messy. But it's in really complete condition actually. I don't know why he's marking all these nuts up. I think it's because maybe people have bought them and sold them in the past, and they start messing around and moving stuff and that. But this is really, really nice condition. So I don't know what the mileage was, but it's in really good condition. So this will definitely, you know, be great, serve the purpose that we're looking for, and get her back on the road with no issues going forward. So yeah, I am waiting for parts for this one. I'm still waiting for the clutch to turn up. What else am I waiting for? Gearbox oil, brake pads. We've still got to do that. But this is obviously part one, and we're going to be doing a part two when all the parts come in and I've got them all together. So yeah, but really pleased with what I've done today. Really sort of got it sort of, you know, all out, and we know exactly what we need to do now, what we need to change. Luckily, it's not that rear main oil seal, so that's good. Behind that flywheel, so that's good news. We haven't got to do that. She hasn't got to pay for extra parts and labour to get that done, and it is just get that gearbox up. I've got this ordered as well, which is a slave cylinder. I always keep them connected just for now, like this. Just keep it connected, and then there's no sort of loss of air pressure or, you know, anything like that until we've got this part. It's been ordered. It's on its way. So yeah, like I said, this is part one. We'll come back to this in part two, where we'll put the gearbox in, do all the stuff, change the oil seals as well. I've got those oil seals. There we are. They've turned up. So yeah, got 2 new oil seals. These are always, for some reason, these oil seals on these drive shafts, they're always, one is smaller than the other in diameter for some reason. It's really strange. But yeah, hold on, let me just line that up like that. It's not a lot, but it's enough. It's enough. So when you're doing these and you're changing the drive shaft oil seals, you've got to make sure you get left to right. They're not sort of the same seal. So yeah, we can do that in part two. So for now, that's it, guys. That's part one done on this. And yeah, I will get into this. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but it should happen on Monday. We should have all the bits and pieces that we need, and we can get back on this and get this done for her. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to drop me a comment, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. See you soon.